What is up, guys? Lotus here, and today I kind of thought it'd be kind of a fun idea to look at some of Cammy's matchups, and not go into too much detail about them, but kind of maybe talk about them a little bit. And if you guys have any questions about any of them specifically, I'd love to talk about them. Discussion is one of my favorite things. I love to learn. I've still got a lot to learn, and if anything, it all is useful to you in this video, then it was worth it to me. So I'm just gonna go in alphabetical order here. Let's go ahead and get Cammy out of the way. We'll just put this at 5-5, obviously. It's the same character. But we'll start with Blanca. Blanca, I think, actually is probably one of Cammy's worst matchups. I don't think it's 3-7, but I definitely think 4-6 for us. So 6 being for Blanca. Our best matchups will be up here at 8-2. Our worst matchups at 4-6. Blanca is... it's hard for me on this one because I'm really biased. This is like... not only a bad matchup for Cammy, this is a bad matchup for me as a player. So I am kind of biased, but I do think this is a pretty hard matchup for Cammy. She doesn't have a super easy time dealing with Blanca balls. Doesn't really have a really easy time dealing with a lot of his mix-ups. Blanca can kind of just like jump back up ball or jump up ball, jump ball on his wake up and get rid of a lot of your shimmy mix-ups and all that kind of crap. He can wake up with his up ball just like all these other characters with invincible reversals, but he's really unorthodox to fight. And to punish his Blanca balls, you really have to invest a lot for not a lot of damage. Definitely a matchup I struggle with personally, and could totally understand why someone would pick a different character besides Cammy for this matchup. It's not great. I think as we've seen with Punk, maybe play Jury, maybe play Kin. Cammy's not great for this matchup, and definitely my least favorite. Moving on to Chun-Li, I think maybe... I want to say this is 5-5, honestly. Chun-Li's got all the tools she needs to deal with Cammy. Cammy also has all the tools she really needs to deal with Chun. I think this is a player matchup, where a lot of the times the better player is going to win. They just seem really even. Footsies, neutral, they're both good at it. It's hard to play that game with Chun sometimes. She's got good anti-airs. She's got ways of dealing with your dive kick. She's got a slow fireball she can follow behind. But Cammy has a lot of ways to deal with her. And outside of looking for Chun's invincible wake up, you can kind of just stay on top of her once you get in. That's obviously going to apply to any character with that philosophy, but I think this is a pretty even matchup. I think dive kick is really good against her if she's using her normal anti-airs. I would keep that in mind. Dive kick is probably pretty good in this matchup. Stand heavy kick is pretty good. I think it outranges her stand fierce. But in general, it seems like a very close matchup. And if you guys want me to go into more detail on these matchups in another video, like on specific matchups, let me know and I'll be happy to go over any of these more specifically. I kind of just want to brush over these. Dawson, again, a bad matchup for me personally, but Cammy definitely wins it. I want to say 6-4 or 7-3. Since I'm biased and this is my matchup chart, I'm going to put it in 6-4 Cammy, because I think Dawson has... it's one of those characters where both characters are trying to impose their game plan on the other. Sometimes you watch these characters play and it's like, holy crap, Cammy just bulldozed this guy. And then other rounds you watch it and it's like, holy crap, Cammy can't get in at all. They both can win. I think Cammy definitely has the advantage. Dawson's defense is really bad, and Cammy typically does pretty well against characters with bad defense. Once she gets in, she just kind of mauls you. But he can be a pain in the butt to get in on. Again, dive kicks are really good if he's using his normal anti-airs. You've got spin knuckle to get through his fireballs, and once you're in, you're kind of just in. Sometimes against good Dawson players, you're just going to have those rounds though where you just don't get in, and that's their whole thing. But Cammy definitely wins it. DJ, I'm going to say 5-5. DJ, also again for me, not one of my best matchups personally. Being a charge character, sometimes they just tend to down back, they throw fireballs, they up kick, they flash kick like Guile. Some DJs just play like Guile, other DJs are a lot more aggressive. I think this is even, though. Neutral game's pretty even. He's got some good buttons. His drive rush is something you really got to look out for. If you're ready for it, you can definitely punish it. But definitely don't think this is too skewed either way. I think, again, this is a player matchup. But it's a matchup I struggle with. And his up kick has pretty good horizontal range, so it's kind of hard to bait with dive kick. Like if you're doing an early dive kick to try to bait someone's anti-air. It doesn't always work with DJ. DJ's definitely a good character. I don't think Cammy loses, but I don't really think DJ loses either. Zangief, man, I am realizing all of my bad matchups are at the start of this list. Again, I personally struggle with Zangief. These are some of my worst matchups we're going over. But Cammy definitely wins, I think. Her neutral, she can just kind of keep him out, lame him out. You anti-air his jumps, you poke withstand heavy kick. His buttons he's sticking out are typically really slow, and you can whiff punish them pretty easily. So I don't think he's a huge problem for Cammy, but kind of like with Dawson, you're going to have these rounds where Zangief just gets a Zangief round. He catches you with 2 SPDs when you're trying to block. He conditions you to jump the SPD, and then he frame traps and you get hit. It's one of those characters where you're just going to lose sometimes because he's Zangief. But I think Cammy definitely has the advantage. The thing is, Zangief has to win 2, 3, maybe 4 interactions to win a round. Cammy has to win 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 interactions to take a round off Zangief. So that kind of puts Cammy at a disadvantage, but she definitely wins. His defense is poor. He can't really wake up and get you off your game. You can kind of maul him once you get him down. You're just gonna have those rounds where you lose to him. But Cammy wins. Guile. This may be a little controversial to some Guile players, because I think a lot of Guile players think that this is free for Cammy. I kind of disagree. I think Cammy definitely wins. I mean, just by the natures of the character, Guile wants to keep you out, Cammy wants to get in. She's got arguably the best anti-fireball tool in the game between her level 3 and her quick spin knuckle. So she definitely has ways to beat Guile. It's just one of those, again, sometimes you just get guiled. You can't get past the booms. Every time you try to jump, you get flash kicked. You eat half your life for one combo. It happens. It happens to literally. It happens to Punk at CEO Otaku with Knuckle Dew. It just happens. But I think Cammy definitely wins. I won't deny that. It's a hard matchup for Guile. You have really good ways to get past those projectiles. You've got decent ways to bait the flash kicks. You can change your jump timings. And your neutral is just as good as his, probably better as far as your buttons. So definitely think Cammy wins. Annoying matchup for sure. Honda, I used to think this was a losing matchup for Cammy. The longer the game's gone on, I think it's maybe even, or maybe even in Cammy's favor. Once you learn to deal with Honda's headbutt and his sumo slam and all that crap, I don't think he's that bad, to be honest. I think you can deal with him pretty easily. But sometimes you just don't get the perfect parry on a headbutt. You don't get the perfect parry on a butt slam. You guess wrong about an SPD. And like, I don't know. It's tough. I thought Cammy used to lose this, but as time has gone on, I think Cammy wins it. So maybe I just split the difference and put it in 5-5. I could see it going 6-4 Cammy. These are not ordered, by the way. These are not ordered. But I kind of want to put it here, because I think Honda does have the tools to kind of be good against Cammy, kind of like Blanca. They're kind of similar in a way, as they've always been with their charge, kind of full screen special safe shenanigans. Honda doesn't have as good of a reversal as Blanca, though, so you can kind of maul him a little bit better. I don't know. This one's kind of tough for me. I think Cammy wins it. I think Cammy wins this matchup, but if there was a tier between these two, that's where I would put Honda. It's a close matchup. He's just really annoying to deal with because of his online shenanigans, but once you learn those, really you're good. Jamie, 6-4 Cammy. He's got good neutral. He's got full screen palms. He's got a dive kick. He can kind of play back and force you to come to him with his drinking mechanic, which can be annoying for sure. But I think Cammy definitely wins the matchup. I think your neutral is just flat out better. Your anti-airs are flat out better. Your damage is no worse. Probably better in most scenarios. Not really a lot to say about this matchup. It kind of just feels like playing against a worse version of Yoon or Yang from Street Fighter 4. I don't think Jamie's bad, but Cammy definitely wins. You just have to be patient. The Jamie's players, a lot of them online, they like to try to force you to come to them by just walking back and drinking, so you're like, oh, I gotta hit him before he gets to full drinks. And then other Jamie players, it's like, fuck it, we full screen palm. And that's kind of the two Jamie players. Some are in the middle and they like to play neutral, but I think Cammy definitely wins a matchup. You just gotta kind of be patient. Don't let him make you make stupid decisions because he's drinking. JP, this is hard. I don't want to put everyone in 6-4. I'm just not so sure I want to put JP in 7-3 because he's one of the best characters in the game, and is another one of those characters where you're going to have those rounds where sometimes you got JP'd. It just happens. You got command grabbed with his stupid projectile. You got kept out with ground spikes and ghost. And I will say Cammy's dive kick in this matchup is super good. Beating JP's crouch heavy punch with dive kick is fairly consistent. So he's going to want to start air to airing or air throwing, because that's a really strong tool in this matchup, is to do like a late jump dive kick. So I definitely advise you practicing that if you're struggling against getting in against JP. Again though, you've got the quick spin knuckle, you can get past the projectiles, you can level 3 it, he can do the feint, so that's always a concern. But I don't know. Cammy definitely wins, but it's definitely not a matchup that's free. And JP can definitely beat Cammy. I don't care how many JP players want to come in here and cry about Cammy. Don't even get me started on that. Cammy is actually playing Street Fighter. JP's playing a separate game. Call me whatever you want. JP is not the same fundamentally as a lot of the characters on this list. He has his own game plan. He does his own thing. Whatever. Cammy still wins. You gotta pick your moments for getting in on this character, or else you're gonna pay for it with a EX amnesia into 50% of your life. What other character gets 50% of your life for reversing correctly? You know, it's kind of dumb to me. You could put him here against like a really bad JP, but where I'm at and the JPs I play against, I feel like it's more here. Jury, definitely 5-5. I think this may be one of the most even matchups in the game. Both of your buttons are super good. You both have a way to change your jump timings with dive kick. She's got fireball, drive rush. She's got one of the best drive rush in the game. Her DP is one of the best at dealing with Cammy's dive kicks. Jury 100% has the tools to beat Cammy. That being said, Cammy also has the tools to beat Jury. I think this is just about as 5-5 as you get in this game. I think Jury fights Cammy very well, and I think Cammy fights Jury very well. So, not too much to say about this. This is a player matchup in my opinion, and if you're struggling with Jury, I highly advise you just look into your replays and see why are you losing to Jury. Are you not checking drive rushes? Are you, whatever it is. If this is something you're struggling with, I think this is a good matchup to look at replays, because I think this is very even. Ken, I could say 5-5, but I'm actually going to put Ken here. I think Ken is a pretty hard matchup for Cammy, and I think Ken has slight advantage. Cammy can definitely win. He's a Shoto. She's got quick spin knuckles. She can get past the Hadoukens. But Ken's just got everything in this game you could ever want. His buttons are incredible. His pressure's incredible. His damage is incredible. Ken top 2 in the game, probably. I would give Ken the slight advantage. If for no other reason than he just has every single tool in the game. He's kind of like Jury on steroids to me. He can do it all, but even better. Absolutely not an unwinnable matchup for Cammy by any means. I think I have probably a higher than 50% win rate against Kins. It's just, he's so good. You really got to learn how to fight this character with parries after the Jinrai kicks and the Dragon Lashes, or DIing them or reacting to them, looking for jumps, looking for fireballs, looking for whiff punishes. You just have to be really well rounded in this matchup to win. Kim, 6'4" Cammy, maybe even 7'3". I almost could even put this here. I think Cammy beats Kim pretty convincingly. Probably not that convincingly though. Compared, like if I was gonna put Kim here, I'd probably move Dawson here. Maybe JP, maybe Geef, but I think I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna actually leave Dawson up here at 7'3". Kim, her problem is she just doesn't have defense. I mean, she has all the tools in the world to skip neutral. So, I mean, yeah, great. You can full screen EX teleport, you can full screen slide, you can jump, you can drive rush. Kim has every tool in the game to skip neutral, which Cammy is great at. But once Cammy gets her hand around Kim's neck, what does Kim do? Even if she has level 1, if you meaty jab her, if you meaty pressure her with jab, you're just gonna block the level 1. It's so slow. I'd struggle against Kim personally, just because of the way they play and the way it meshes with my playstyle. But Kim, I think Kim gets handled by Cammy. Her anti-air is, her elbow, her back elbow or whatever, is super easily beaten with dive kick. Your buttons beat her. You get on top of her, she just begs you to stop. There's nothing she can do. She just kind of cries like, oh my god, get me out of here. Kim can't do shit. Super annoying to fight sometimes, especially online. But I don't think a Cammy player should have too much trouble with Kim overall. You knock her down, you win. Lily. Man, these two tiers are going to be full, huh? Let me think about this for a second. Definitely not 5-5. Cammy definitely wins. It's kind of the same thing with Kim. You get on top of Lily, what does she do? She's kind of fucked. But Lily can be really frustrating to fight. Her buttons are very good. Obviously, her wind stock Condor Spire is very strong. You can drive reversal it though. It's a good tool. Try to drive reversal her just doing that so she doesn't think she can get him for free. She's got tick SPDs. She's got good anti-airs. She's got great buttons. She just doesn't have defense really. So again, I think Cammy wins this matchup for sure. It's one of those matchups where it's like you play against a good Lily player and you know you should win, but you're not winning. That's how I would describe this matchup. Lily just sometimes, she just wins. She gets you with the tick SPD. She anti-airs you perfectly with her Condor uppercut and her heavy punch, whatever that is. They're very good. You can beat, if she's using her normal for her anti-air, it's really susceptible to getting dive kicked as well. But she's just kind of a weird matchup. One tip that's helped me in this matchup, I don't know if you guys watch a lot of Punk, but if you do, you'll probably see he whiff punishes with Cammy's sweep a lot, her crouch heavy kick. I actually think that's really good in this matchup. It seems to work really well, better than in most, to me. So my advice to you, if you're struggling in this matchup, if they're playing a neutral game, kind of just stay right out of her range and just be ready to hit that sweep and then get on top of her and kill her. You know, characters without reversals, they tend to wake up parry, wake up super, wake up DI. They do whatever they can to try to give themselves a reversal. So you got to be ready for that kind of stuff. But I don't think you should have too much trouble in this matchup, especially when you knock her down. This maybe just be one of those characters you need to practice against a bit. Luke, 5-5. I think Luke is almost just as good as Ken, but I personally find Luke to be a little bit easier to fight than Ken. He feels a little more straightforward, almost more like a Ryu. But I do think it's 5-5. Cammy traditionally does really well against Shotos, so it's weird to put a Shoto in 5-5 with Cammy, but Luke is just so good. His damage is incredible. His buttons, incredible. His anti-airs, incredible. His supers, incredible. Like, his drive rush, very good. Like, Luke's got it all. He is the Ryu of this game, for sure. Again, like with all the other Shotos, you've got the quick spin knuckle to get past the fireballs, but he's got one of the fastest fireballs in the game on startup. Not really too much to say about this matchup. It's just a typical Cammy versus Shoto matchup. You either win or you don't. You either guess right with them. You knock them down and you guess right on how they're going to play defense and you win. Or you don't. And he kind of mauls you with his just as good offense plus better defense, fireballs, all that. 100% winnable for each character. And if you're struggling in this matchup, I think this is another good matchup to go back and watch replays on, because I think it's very winnable for both characters, and you could probably learn a lot. Like if you're just trying to get better in general, not necessarily character matchups, I think Luke and Jury are two really good matchups to watch, because they're just so even. They feel so even. It can go either way. Luke definitely outdamages Cammy most of the time. Not all the time, but not too much else to say. He's a great character, and it's a great fundamental character to practice against, whether it's whiff punishes, poking, anti-airs, anti-fireball, you know, all that stuff. It's a great character to practice against. Manon, this could be, I think, either of these. I think Cammy has a pretty decent time against Manon. I'm going to put her in 6-4 because it's, again, one of those characters where sometimes you just get Manoned. She has these really long reach, lanky, awkward buttons that are just kind of weird sometimes. She's got her weird full screen sweep. She's got her weird full screen jump back kick thing. She's got empty jump SPD. She's got tick SPD. She's weird. She's just kind of a weird character. In general, you kind of just treat it like Zangief. They're kind of similar matchups, the way they play. But Manon just feels weirder. Her back, I don't know if it's back medium punch or what, but her anti-air is also super susceptible to Cammy's dive kick. So if they're not doing the like OD flip kick thing to anti-air and they're just doing the punch thing, I think you can have a pretty good time getting in on Manon with jumps by doing a late dive kick. It happens to me a lot. Her defense is bad. Unlike Kim and Lily, though, she has a level 1 that even if you jab, you're not going to be able to block it. So she's got a bit better reversals than them. But she's just weird to fight, man. Like, I say just practice poking her and holding your space. Practice your anti-airs in this matchup. You do not want to get hit with an empty jump 5 metal SPD. And practice just blocking and DIing if they're just doing that full screen shenanigan stuff. I have Manons that it's like, they're like, okay, either I jump, I full screen sweep, or I full screen back kick, or I drive. Like, they have no sense of like actually playing neutral. You know what I mean by that, you know. I'm sure I'll get some heat over that, but they don't play like traditional Street Fighter neutral. A lot of them, even in Master Rank. If you're struggling against her, maybe jab more in her pressure because some of it's fake. Maybe DP more. You're being too respectful. Don't be afraid to like show her, hey, like, I'm not gonna let you get away with all this shit. But once Cammy gets her down, I think Cammy kind of handles her. Marisa, I'm gonna put 5-5. I think Marisa really struggles to keep Cammy out of the air with her anti-airs. And I think Marisa kind of struggles in neutral in general against Cammy. the thing about this matchup is Marissa hits you twice, 3 times, you're dead. You lost. Sorry. Cammy has to hit her 5, 6 times, 7 times. So that's the disadvantage in this matchup. They both can win. I think if you tone down Marissa's damage, I'd say this is 7-3 Cammy. But the fact that Marissa only has to hit you twice, 3 times, it means Cammy's got to be on her P's and Q's at all times. She's got to watch out. I mean, you could just die at any time. So DI is good in this matchup if they're throwing out really big, slow buttons. Whiff punishing is really good in this matchup if you're staying out of their range and you're comfortable with punishing. She's got a hard time anti-airing Cammy with her dive kicks. She doesn't really have any defense. She's got her, you know, little whatever reversal you want to call it, but it's not like a true real reversal. You can grab it. It's kind of like Honda headbutt. But I definitely think it's even. I think Marissa can body Cammy, and then you have rounds where Cammy bodies Marissa. If you're struggling in this matchup, I think watch the replay and see where you got hit and what led to that hit. What could you have done differently to prevent that hit? Don't watch the combo he's doing to you. That's not going to help you. Watch what led to that combo. Super annoying character to fight sometimes. Sometimes you just get mauled by Marissa. Other times Cammy mauls Marissa. I think it's even. And then last but not least, we've got our boy Ryu. And I think I'll put this in 6-4 for Cammy. Unlike Ken, I think Ryu is a lot easier to fight. It's the same as Ken, except for Ryu doesn't have the Jinrai kick and the Dragon Lash and the Stand Fierce and the all that side switch level 1 or 2, whatever it is. Ryu just feels like fighting a Wish.com Ken. You know what I mean? It's like you go to the store and it's like, oh, Mom, I want Ken. No, we have Ken at home. And then you get home and you have Ryu. And I'm not saying Ryu's bad, but I don't think anybody could argue that Ryu's better than Ken. So it's kind of the same. You play it the same way. Anti-fireball the Hadoukens. Play neutral with him, anti-air him, and guess on his defense, right? It's very similar to Ken, but it feels a lot more manageable because Ryu's offense is a lot more tame. So, yeah, guys, that's it. I know this was kind of very general, not very specific. I just kind of wanted to put a chart out there. I'm going to look over this real quick. Is there anything I want to change? I like Blanca here. I like Ken here. I like Chun, DJ, Jury, Luke. I like all this. 6-4. I'm going to keep Guile here. I bet a lot of Guile players would say this. I'm keeping him here. I disagree. Honda I'll keep here, although I think Honda could even go here. Zangief we keep here. Jamie we keep here. JP players will probably say it's up here. I disagree. Lily stays here. Maybe Lily could go here too, honestly, maybe. Kimberly could also maybe go here. I'm going to keep it this way, though. Manon could even maybe go here. The rest of these I think are very accurate. I think we will keep Dawson up here. It's definitely a tough matchup for Dawson. But yeah, guys, this is going to be the end of this video. I do definitely want to come out with a lot more content. I'm thinking about a ton more stuff to put out, like just specific random stuff like which anti-air is best in every matchup for Cammy. Where can you use back heavy kick as an anti-air, or just random, like really niche specific stuff is kind of the stuff I kind of want to focus on moving forward. But I definitely want to keep putting out content for all us Cammy players, and I want to help us all get better and continue to get better myself. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll be out. I'll catch you all on the next one.